Hi, hello everyone. Katie, nice to see you again. Um, and then it was Jediah, right? I think you're muted. Yes, Jediah, I hope. Or oh, there we go. Thank you. Awesome. So we're really glad both of you guys can join us today. Today we have Matt Palmer on. He works at, well, I'll let him introduce himself, but he's one of our great alumni that we have as part of our alumni family that comes every year, if you can, onto our Alumni Advantage event that we host every October, which gives current students an opportunity to connect with alumni from all across the country. Especially this year was great because it was virtual. We got to invite even more alumni than usual. So people from Florida, California, different places were able to make the trip and it didn't cost them a penny. So we do have Matt with us today. We're hoping one of our other alumni from California, Callie Gilbert, will be able to join us. But for now, we'll get started with Matt. Give me 1 second to get the PowerPoint up. Okay, let's see, share screen. Right. Perfect. Can everyone see the screen all right? Okay, awesome. All right, so welcome everyone. This event is called Your Alumni Family, and it's just really more to kind of expose you to what types of jobs there are after graduation and what it could look like once you're a student here with the different types of connections you can make. And that's really what sets Niagara apart from other schools is the ability to make connections and network before you even leave school. So by the time you're graduating, you already know somebody in the industry you're looking at and have made different connections, maybe mentored with them, done an internship with them. There's lots of different options when it comes to connecting with our alumni. So real quick, I'm gonna introduce our current hospitality staff and admissions staff on the call. So my name is Erin Clark. I work in the admissions office. I work mostly with students from the Southern Tier and a couple local schools. And then with us, we also have Dr. Choi, our interim dean, and Chris Bradshaw. So if you guys would like to introduce yourself each real quickly, and then we'll get started with the alumni portion. Oh, Dr. Choi, I think you're muted.
No, it's not. Good. Okay. Hey, everyone. My name is Dr. Choi, Young-Soo Choi. I'm the interim dean at the College of Hospitality Management. This is my 8th year with the college. Matt, are you like class of 10 or?
Yeah, I
9?
graduated in December of 09. So
9 or 10,
yeah,
right? So I didn't have a pleasure to have you in my class, but yeah, that's right. But so I'm kind of a relatively new person. I've been faculty in hospitality and tourism, and I also was a coordinator in sport management. So I've been around here and there. So I'll talk to you later once, Matt talked about his experience and some nice wisdom sharing. Chris?
Well, thank you for all of you for joining us tonight. I've worked at Niagara now. This will be my 17th year, and I was hired right off the spot with Liberty Travel. And I have to say, I mean, Niagara has been family to me, community to me, and everything that you do to put yourself forward is what we're going to talk to you about tonight as far as getting jobs, networking, and it's not about who you know, it's about who knows you. So we're here to help you with those questions, whether it's internships, job opportunities, working at Disney, like I did. I came to Niagara and right off the bat, I wanted to get involved. And that's the key to your success, getting to know people, networking, and letting us help you with those job opportunities.
Thanks, Chris. All right, so let's get started. So we're hoping Callie will be able to join us, but if she does, she currently is working in California. She was a member of our part of our hospitality family and still is today. She is the founder and CEO of Tower 15 Productions. So she kind of took a different path when it comes to hospitality and working with other people. So I really hope she's able to join us today. But if not, I do have her contact information if anyone wants to know a little bit more. But now I'll switch it over to Matt. If you'd like to introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about what you do and your journey to where you've come today.
Sure. Thank you very much, Erin. And thank you all for being on the call. You're an great spot to start out the rest of your career at Niagara, and definitely a great program. So my name is Matt. I'm the Director of Operations at the Hyatt Regency in Clearwater Beach in Clearwater, Florida. I've currently been working for Hyatt Hotels for the past 11 years. So since I graduated, I was a CMT, Room CMT, which is their corporate management training program. It's a great program where you're able to get some exposure into a number of different departments and work alongside some of the colleagues that are, doing it on the day-to-day, and better understand what they're going through. And then after you complete the program, you do a concentration in one particular department, and then move right into an assistant management role, assistant leadership role at that hotel, hopefully if it's available. So you'll find that a number of hotel companies and restaurant companies have similar types of programs, and I think it's a great way to get in and learn more. And the first time when I was in high school, I worked mostly in restaurants and golf courses, but started working in hotels when I was in college, and it was good to be able to get that experience and right off the bat. So this is my 5th hotel with Hyatt. I've worked in Jacksonville, Florida, Savannah, Georgia, San Antonio, Texas, and Denver, Colorado. So hopped around quite a bit. I was, really enjoyed traveling and being able to, work and learn with people from different points of view and backgrounds. And I mean, it's different cultures for sure. In each part of the country, you get a different exposure there. So really have learned a lot, and I owe a lot of it to Niagara for setting us up with great education and really the opportunities and networking along the way.
Awesome. Thank you, Matt. We do have Kelly Gilbert joining us in just a few minutes. She's going to be hopping on, but I'm going to let Matt get started with us. We're going to go to our first question. And we'll just start with what has been your greatest achievement in your career so far?
My greatest achievement so far, I would say, is being able to see so many colleagues who worked for me and helping them to move up and get promoted out of either within the hotel or out of the hotel, and to continue to see them move throughout the company and different hotels, or even those that have left the company and in further endeavors. And I think that it means a lot, and shows that the connections you make really are making a difference. And that's definitely been the most rewarding thing for me.
Awesome. Thanks, Matt. And if anyone has any questions, feel free to put them in the chat during any point in this, and then at the end, we'll get to any questions. Right. The next one, what advice do you have for current prospective students in the College of Hospitality?
The advice I would say is that it seems obvious now that you're already taking this great step of, being involved in this call and learning more and starting to network as it is, but there's so many students that don't take advantage of the networking and the industry experience while they're at Niagara. They kind of assume that, oh, I'm going to get a bachelor's degree, I'm going to come out, I'm going to be a manager, and I'll be fine. I won't have to do anything else. But so much of it is industry experience, and I think the more that you get, the better that you really understand what it's like in the day-to-day, and Niagara can set you up with those opportunities. After my freshman year, I went and worked in Tallahassee, Florida, this little Staybridge Suites small hotel. I didn't know anything about Tallahassee. I didn't know anything about Staybridge Suites, but I was a hotel, so I said, hey, you know what? I'll give it a shot. Next, that got me ready to be able to go for the exchange program in Lake Como, Italy, the following summer. And then the following summer, I was able to do an internship in Bermuda. So lots of different cultures, lots of different opportunities. And if you don't take advantage of those, then you're really missing out. And the other thing that I've seen is a lot of young managers will come out of school and they don't know what the industry's like. You know, they don't understand the hours you put in. They don't understand what goes into the day to day, and they end up leaving. And it's almost like you're wasting your entire education because you waited until you got out there to realize what it was. So I think that being a part of that and getting into it and networking and learning from other alumni and other industry professionals, and then you yourself working in the industry will give you a better idea so that you can be prepared and make sure that, you know, this is something that you want to make a career out of.
Awesome, thanks, Matt. And we have Callie joining us now, all the way from California, right? Awesome. So Callie, I'll let you, I'll go back real quick so you can introduce yourself. I don't want to miss too much. So Callie, if you could tell us a little bit more about yourself. Yeah, no problem. No problem.
Yeah, I thought it was 3:30 and we're having a bit of a wind event here. So I was like, okay, let's make sure everything stays in place. It's all good. Hi, everyone. Greetings from Southern California. Right now, I am actually in the San Diego area. I split my time between San Diego and LA. I graduated in 2008 with a bachelor in sport management, went on to the University of San Francisco to get my master's degree, and also in sport management. And not doing anything related. I'm actually an author and a filmmaker, so it's been quite the journey. But thrilled to be here and answer any questions you may have.
Awesome, thanks, Callie. I know both of our students on the call today are looking more at the hotel aspect of it, but I think it's really important to see how versatile a hospitality degree is, whether it's hotel management, sports management, or tourism management. So that's really why I really wanted you to be here today, so you could give that different perspective. So I'll let you answer the first two questions back to back, and then we'll kind of get back into back and forth between you and Matt. So we'll start, Callie, with what has been your greatest achievement so far in your career?
Yeah, so there have been so many, but I think the greatest one, actually there's two. So I actually published 2 of my best-selling books. I have 10 best-selling books, and I ended up publishing 2 of them while I was homeless in San Francisco. So that is right there at the top of my list because it pretty much put me on the map in terms of being an author, and then led to a more creative journey. And then recently, last year was an amazing year. I started my own production company, released my first film, Invisible, and it began winning awards and got me an invitation to the Cannes Film Festival. So that is probably another big one up there as well.
Awesome, thanks, Callie. And we'll go right into the next one. Is what advice do you have for prospective students?
Yeah, so first of all, I would say enjoy the journey. You know, it goes by so fast, and just really enjoy every moment of it. Value the relationships within the program, within the university as a whole, because you never know where these relationships will take you in the future. And just do your best. You know, I think it really in school, I know it's difficult, whether it's undergrad or grad, it doesn't really matter what level, to compare yourselves to others, right? And that's so difficult at times. And I think it's so important not to compare yourself to anyone. There's an amazing book entitled The 4 Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz, which I would suggest everyone read because it's pretty amazing. And one of the agreements is don't compare yourself to others, right? We're all unique. We all have unique gifts and talents and things to offer the world. So really cherish what you can offer and just be happy to be yourselves. I think that's really key. And yeah, just have fun. You know, you're going into an opportunity where you're going to meet so many people. You're going to learn. It's going to be an amazing journey, and just cherish it.
Awesome, thanks, Callie. All right, I'll let Matt take this one, give you a break. Going back into kind of more a serious aspect of what's going on, it'll be really important to see how other states are handling COVID-19 as well. But Matt, how has COVID affected your current position or your hotel in general?
Sure. So as far as the hotel goes, you know, we're extremely fortunate to have a beautiful beach behind us. So it has kind of helped us become better than a number of our are in a better spot than a number of my colleagues throughout the industry. And so we slowed down. They closed the beaches on March 20th, and we have about 20 condos where in the hotel where people actually live. They're all privately owned. So we had to stay open to keep the security and engineering departments here. So we decided to just leave the hotel open. We only occupied about 3 or 4 rooms a night from, I would say, the middle of March, all of April, and the first week of May, from when they reopened the beaches again. At that point, things kind of took off, and we, were initially at about 50% occupancy for the first couple of weeks, and then they lifted the restrictions on lodging, and the month of June we were sold out pretty much every weekend, which was very surprising. And then the cases came back, and July, right around 4th of July, started to slow down again due to the fear of travel. And then now it's through the rest of 2020, it was mostly weekend business, kind of slow, around 20-30% occupancy during the week. And then, in the high 80s on the weekend. But I would say how it's affected my position is, I do a lot more I've always been very hands-on and very involved in the operation, but I do a lot more of actually managing shifts for my managers, covering whether it be the front desk or opening a shift in the restaurant or whatever that may be. I do a lot more of that, and I think that it's really helped us become a closer team during these challenging times, and we've begun to encourage and utilize these colleagues in so many different positions that they really better understand what their counterparts are going through. And I think it makes us a closer team, but despite how challenging it has been. But I would say that's the big thing. And the other thing is just being more aware of from a guest perspective, what are their expectations from a hygiene and cleanliness standpoint, and really looking at everything through their eyes to another, to another standpoint. It's not a standpoint, sorry, to another degree. I've always, been very particular as far as, scuff marks here, or picking this up and there, but it's really how does the guest really see that in their eyes, so they feel comfortable to travel here and come back and stay in general. So those are the 2 biggest things I would say.
Great, thank you, Matt. Matt, actually, I worked at a Hyatt Regency in Rochester up until about
Nice.
March, and I was one of the people that was not positively affected by COVID.
I'm so sorry.
Rochester is a very business-oriented market,
Yeah.
And that's really the biggest difference I've noticed is the leisure versus business market has been affected mostly for hotels. That's why Niagara Falls has still done well, but Rochester is not, because they have that different type of market.
Yeah, I mean, my previous hotel that I moved here last January, and I moved from Denver, and we were convention hotel right next to the convention center, 1,100 rooms, and it's my counterparts there are all primarily working in security, just walking around and making sure the building's still up and running. And but yeah, it's been definitely a horrible thing, and I just hope that it rebounds quickly, as quick as it can, and hopefully we can figure out how to hold meetings safely.
Yeah, it's looking more positive every day, even in New York State with vaccines coming out, just following protocols. So I'm thinking this summer will definitely, I think, be back to more of a normal place, hopefully better than last year.
For sure.
Yeah. Callie, would you like to maybe discuss a little bit how COVID affected your current position or your current industry that you're in?
Yeah, it's interesting. I'll actually go kind of 2 parts. So for me personally, the film industry, entertainment industry, it's been interesting to see. It's been horrible, of course, for the movie theaters and those things that needed to shut down. The festivals, all the live events, of course, had to go virtual. But it was actually pretty beneficial because with everything virtual, the audiences grew, right? You can have global audience. And so that's been pretty amazing to see how that's turned out. And also, secondly, from a tourist point of view, Santa Monica is, of course, a major tourist spot. The pier closed down. Our beach is also closed for a while, which kind of sent me in a panic because that's kind of like my home away from home. But it wasn't too bad. But now they're starting to slowly. Today we got the order that the stay-at-home order had been lifted for California. So hopefully start getting, back to normal. But it's going to be interesting to see moving forward, especially with the movie theaters and everything now being, the streaming services have gone through the roof, and really now everything is virtual. So it certainly will be a journey moving forward.
Yeah, I mean, maybe it'll be for the best. It'll create that larger global market as more of an opportunity than the in-person market. I know I love live events, but sometimes it's expensive to get to them, hard to get to them. By having this almost an opportunity to expand the market is maybe a good thing in the long run.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, I was supposed to go to France, supposed to, spend nearly a month in Europe in May of last year, and of course had to cancel that and halt production on one of my films. But also I was able to take part in the Cannes Film Festival, had a virtual segment, and so did Sundance. Sundance has one going on right now. And so it's interesting to see. Last year was actually, for me personally, not that bad. It was probably one of the best years that I had. I ended up writing 2 scripts and publishing my 10th book. And it was the perfect year, I think, for a lot of writers and entertainers to really work on content, because now, in 21 and moving forward, I think there's going to be a huge demand for content moving forward.
Definitely. Awesome. All right, Matt, could you maybe talk about a skill you learned in college that maybe you didn't think would be as useful as it is today, or maybe just a skill you learned in general that you find is an important one to have in the industry?
Yeah, I'll tell you 2 for different reasons. I would say that one of the ones that is really networking, and how to talk to people and how to have those conversations with complete strangers. I mean, I've always been fairly outgoing and whatnot, but definitely not to the extent where I would walk up to a CEO and introduce myself and ask some questions. And that's something that I learned at Niagara that I feel is really valuable, and just continuing to be able to network throughout your career and whatnot. And the other one that I kind of joke about sometimes, but it's really true, is that all of the the classes that teach you Excel and Microsoft PowerPoint and macros, all those different systems. I remember being back in college and us saying, "Well, I don't understand why we need to do this, or what's the point of this? We're not going to use it." And it's unbelievable how many industry professionals don't know how to use Excel or how to use PowerPoint, and it's so valuable to be able to use those tools, and it makes your jobs much easier, get things done quicker, and are able to provide more accurate financial forecasting numbers and whatnot. So I would say that's definitely an important one.
Nice thing is, believe that you are required to take a Microsoft class to graduate. So you'll get some of those basic skills in Excel, PowerPoint, Microsoft Word. And you get a nice big fun book to learn it all. But it's really helpful. It's nice, like learning the basics for all of those. Even though you think you already know them, you'll definitely learn a couple new things, which is really good, because even now, working in admissions, we still use Google, like Excel all the time. We use the Google version, and we share things with each other all the time. All of our numbers, if you have goals and sales, those a lot of times are created on Excel document using formulas and different things like that. So using those different options, like things, is really important to learn, especially early in college. Will help you with your writing skills, any presentations, any projects. So the earlier you start to learn those skills and you're able to use them, the better it is. All right, Callie.
Yeah, so I will echo Matt's thing on networking. Definitely networking has been huge. relationship building is everything. And I don't think it matters what field you're in. It's really, how you grow and how you learn, and really to build that relationship from, starting out as strangers to developing it as you're going along, whether it's a boss or a colleague or someone that you're working, with, indirectly. So absolutely networking. Also, I would say like a speech class or like a communication class, really how to express yourself. And especially if you end up in a position where you are a public figure or you're going to be speaking, with the media. That's huge, because I remember the first speech class I ever took, this was many moons ago. I was terrified to get up there and speak in front of the class. And what I realized was if I was speaking about something that I enjoyed and was passionate about, it was a lot easier. And so once you do that, and you get enough practice, it does make it easier. And now, my gosh, it's like, it's all I do. So that definitely helped.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you'll definitely be doing some presentations in hospitality, I promise you that, no matter what path you take, whether it's sports management, hotel management, or tourism management. There's opportunities to network and opportunities to practice your public speaking. So all good things you'll be able to get. All right, and then we're going to move on to the last question. I believe it's the last question. Matt, what was your career goal coming out of college, and how does it compare to what you're doing today?
My career goal coming out of college was to become general manager of a full service hotel. And currently I'm on that track. So so hopefully I'll continue along that track and be able to reach that goal. So sorry, I don't have a fun example of how it's changed or something there.
I mean, what was your goal before coming into college?
Oh,
did you have an idea of exactly what you wanted to do then?
I knew I wanted to work in hotels. I kind of discovered them towards the end of my high school years, and had always worked in, food and beverage and restaurants and really enjoyed it. And then, kind of discovered, there's this whole concept of hotels. Growing up, we never stayed at fancy hotels or anything. I mean, it was mostly campgrounds and whatnot around New York and in the Northeast. But finding this whole industry was really exciting for me. And so I think it was really just to get a good job in hospitality and hotels and learn and see where it took me.
Yeah, so it's not important to know exactly what you want to do before you get here. It's a good thing to have an idea, but I promise you it'll change as you're taking classes and meeting new people and learning new things. When I came in as a student, I wanted to plan events. And then I met some people that planned events after I graduated, and they were amazing at what they did. So I realized that maybe that's not what I'm meant to do. And it took time, it took taking classes, meeting new people, learning new things to really figure out what you want to do. That's what's really important about having the opportunity to have those internships, network with alumni, and get jobs to get industry experience before you graduate. Awesome. And then I'll hand it over to Callie.
Yes, I have quite the interesting Niagara story. So I'm a former athlete, a former figure skater. I grew up in Toronto, and I actually visited Niagara for the first time in 1991 when I was still in my skating days. And I remember thinking, this is really where I want to go. But at the time, the timing just wasn't right. And 14 years later, I ended up going to Niagara. So it's interesting to find the place, but then having to align it with, the timing. And when I went, it was perfect timing because they had just introduced the sport management program. And so I was that first class of the sport management program. And it was perfect because I was the athlete. I wanted to get into event management in sports. Like I said, I was an athlete. I had worked at the Olympic Games in 2002 with the Canadian Olympic Committee and wanted to follow that path as well. When I graduated, I actually I received a position, offer for a position before I graduated from NU to be the director of special events with Boys and Girls Clubs in Buffalo. And I took that position and it was amazing and I loved every moment of it. But my heart was in California. So I left and a year later and went out to San Francisco and decided to go to grad school at USF for sport management, and with the idea that I wanted to get into events. And so halfway through grad school, started my own event management company working with the nonprofit sector. And of course, now I'm doing something completely different. I'm writing books and making movies. But I have the background and I've kept the connections and the relationships and continue to build the relationships. And so now I'm really looking forward to 2028 when LA hosts the games. So I think I'm ready. Everyone's like, you've got the background, you're like a shoo-in. It's just a matter of, the games coming. So I figured I'll make movies for a decade and then I'll go work at the Olympics.
That's fantastic. I know that's some students' dream is to be able to make it to the Olympics.
Yeah.
Even just watch one thing. It's kind of like a once in a lifetime experience, really.
It is. 2002. I still say I sometimes need to pinch myself because I often say someone wrote the perfect script and I got to live it because my best friend was on the Canadian hockey team that won the gold medal. And so just being able to experience that entire thing was amazing.
Awesome. Thank you both so much. All right, so that is it for the questions I had. So if anyone has any questions, please feel free to put them in the chat. Chris, Dr. Choi, if you guys have questions, you're more than welcome to put them in there too.
Okay. Yeah, I just want to say, hey, you guys, don't be afraid to reach out if you're curious about what the classes are that you have to take and any of our internships, working abroad, study abroad. I was able to work directly with the CMAA and going to Westchester County in New York and then Cleveland and getting a chance to meet up with alumni. I've traveled around the world with students and get a chance to see what they are doing with their opportunities. And that's what so much of a focus that we do with our college is helping support you guys. So if it's whether it's working at Disney or doing an internship or a study abroad or work abroad, if you're really interested in Lake Como, you can reach out with Matt. If you're really interested in Peru, Young-Soo Choi, or if it's just really a matter of like knowing what classes you have to take and what the required courses are, feel free to send us your transcript so that we can get right on that and help you, assist you with anything that you are interested in from here up until the time you graduate.
Sure. Yeah, I have some questions. I can start some questions to Matt and or Kelly, because then maybe students can follow, because sometimes, professors start first and then it helps. But anyway, Kelly, it's so great to see you again after our virtual alumni event in November and the follow-up, conversation with our alumni engagement departments. But obviously, I've been to Clearwater a lot when I was teaching at UCF and Orlando. I know exactly where you work. It's a wonderful, good location, a beautiful beach, fantastic facility. It also has a spa operation too, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Well, one of our students, Katie, you're still there, right? Katie, I met Katie and her mom last fall, and she mentioned that she's really interested in spa operation. And I say, being a professor, and I said, well, we don't really teach spa operation in our college, but we have some, maybe CMAA, Club Management Association, or someone like you who work in a resort and spa kind of operation. So, this is what I'm talking about, Katie. We have some great alumni who can provide you some kind of advice and guidance on what this industry is about, right? So I'm so glad you're here. But Katie, Kelly, are you gonna submit your film to NFIFF?
Yeah, I did actually for this year. It wasn't selected, so I'll try again. I'm also working on my next film right now, so we'll see how that one goes.
Oh, so I'm not gonna see you in Niagara Falls.
No, actually, well, next year. So I'm coming next summer for the Canada Games.
Oh, okay. Yeah, true.
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah.
We actually just had the director actually speak at Niagara offering internships for the Canadian Games at our college for one of our speaker days. So it was really awesome.
I actually connected with him on LinkedIn and said, here's my background. And he's like, you're in.
So, oh, yeah. Professor Wright. Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
From Brock University.
What questions do you guys have for us?
So I see that Josiah asked
Yeah.
about the out-of-state tuition. I'll touch on that real quick, but we can go into more questions regarding admissions, different classes themselves. But our out-of-state tuition is the same as our in-state tuition. Let me get the exact number for you. So our out-of-state tuition currently is $33,700. And then there's different merit scholarships you can get and out-of-state scholarships as well. So we can talk a little bit more about that after our alumni log off. And then we're going to talk a little bit more about the hospitality program itself,
Right.
and can answer any admissions questions too.
So Jediah, you're from Texas, right?
Oh, I think you're muted.
You can click on your left-hand corner.
Can you hear me?
Yep,
Yes.
now you can.
Okay. So my name
Great.
is Jadzia, and yes, I am from Texas.
Grapevine.
Yes, in Grapevine, Texas.
Yeah, near Irvin. Okay. I know where it is. So welcome.
Thank you.
My son went to Texas A&M, which is not that side. So I've been to Texas many times. So are you interested in F&B? Food and beverage management as of now?
Yes, I want to because first it was culinary arts, and I want to be like a pastry chef mainly, but
Okay.
I steer to the food and beverage management for like the business aspect, and I also get the culinary as well.
Nice, right. Being a pastry chef is one thing, but being an entrepreneur and running the restaurant or bakery, it's a different story, right?
Exactly.
Wow,
Yes.
very smart. Yeah. Sometimes people just get confused and it's the same thing, right? But it's a different skill set. We actually have a great partnership with other culinary institutions, and you may be able to take some courses there, and so great
Yeah,
to
the
have
good
you.
thing is too, like Professor Scott Bean, the students have their own teaching kitchen. So you learn everything from the back of the house to the front of the house. You do menu planning, design planning. The students do everything from ordering the food to setting up the menu to we even have a wine and food and beverage class, but we also have a wine class, culture and cuisine, which actually the owner, the Scari, she comes in and she owns a winery. So she's teaching, it's a practical experience for the students are actually everything that they're learning in the classroom, these students are actually getting that real practical experience. And I think the beauty of that is the food and beverage side, as well as luxury operations, whether it's spa, resorts, whatever it is. Even Peter Florzak, he actually was the general manager of the Marriott, and he's taught our students everything from behind the scenes with luxury resorts, spas, and now he runs the bike tours in Buffalo. But he has so much expertise that students come back to me and they're like, everything I learned from him in the classroom is what I'm doing today. And I have to say to students, they're not just like looking at a chalkboard or looking at a blackboard, they're actually doing the practical experience. And that's what I think Niagara helps set you apart when we have our alumni advantage and our career day. We're helping you find those jobs. We're really helping you get those positions, whether it's a summer job your first semester or like Erin was saying her first summer job working in Rochester. We want to help you grow to really take on that position to where you see yourself in the end.
Yeah, if I can add to that also, Chris, I think it's so important to note that in terms of the relationship building again, when I was in sport, I did an internship with the Buffalo Sabres. But I didn't want to do like game day or the usual thing. And so I had mentioned to Gary Pratzel at the time that I wanted to work in the nonprofit sector and I wanted to work for the Sabres Foundation. And so he actually knew the head of the PR department who put me in touch with the Sabre Foundation. And that's how I got that internship. So it was really, I think, don't be afraid to express what it is that you truly want to do, and what area you want to get into, because you never know who will have that connection that can lead you there.
Yeah, it's true. Like the Pagulas, we are one of the only colleges that they hire our students, and we have current students doing internships with them now. So their sports and entertainment sector is exciting for us, but students, we want to try to help you find those positions before you graduate. Maybe it's the first summer you come in and really help you find those connections. That's really the key to your success, is getting that networking opportunity soon.
Do we have any other questions for our alumni? I'm not going to keep them on too long. Any questions for Callie or Matt? But if you guys do want to reach out to them, I can pass along their contact information. They'd always be happy to answer any other questions or maybe help you if you're wondering what your future could look like in hotels or food and beverage. Both really great. They're opportunistic. They're big world thinkers. So they've got more than just what they've said today. They've been through the industry for, I won't say that long, but long enough to get a good idea of what it takes to really do well.
Katie, any questions for Mr. Palmer maybe about spa operation in a big resort company like that?
I mean, I don't have any in particular.
Particular question, right? Yeah. I mean, well, Matt, if you don't mind, I'll send your contact information to Katie. So if
of course.
she has some questions or any advice, she can appreciate that. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm happy.
Yeah, hopefully we'll be bringing the sports students down to do spring training soon.
Yeah.
When everything opens back up again. So I would love to chaperone anytime they ask me to chaperone.
For sure. Let me know. That's great.
That area, Matt, you've been to Dunedin, right?
Yeah.
Have you been to a Scottish festival? Oh, you just got here in January.
No, I don't think they had it. Yeah, I don't think
not
they
this
had
year,
it there.
probably. Right.
The Phillies and the Blue Jays both do their spring training here.
Exactly.
So they had just gotten started when everything stopped.
Yeah, I heard that Dunedin might possibly host the Blue Jays regular season.
Yeah. I used to go every winter. Every winter from Toronto.
It's a beautiful place to live. And I think if students are interested in internships and everything, it'd be great to have them reach out to you. I know I was there when I was with Schiller International and we were doing an internship and study abroad when I studied in Strasbourg, France. And there's just so many opportunities for students for working. That area is growing. And even after COVID, there's just so much growth and opportunity for students to do internships. So it'd be great for them to reach out to you if you do have something coming up for this next summer.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, the Raptors are playing down here as well in Tampa. So.
Oh, that's awesome.
The whole city of Toronto is coming down.
Obviously.
At least the sporting teams.
Well, thank you both for joining us. We'll let Matt and Callie go, and then we'll talk a little bit more now about our hospitality program, and then if any other questions you guys have. So thank you, Matt. Thank you, Callie, for joining us tonight.
Thank you.
Stay safe.
Great
stay
to
happy.
see everyone.
Great seeing you guys.
Great to see you.
Bye.
Good luck.
Bye-bye.
Stay safe and healthy.
You too.
Thanks.
Okay, perfect. All right, so now I'll let Dr. Choi and Chris kind of take over with whatever format you'd like to do tonight.
Yeah, I mean, someone like Katie, right? We met. This is probably 15th time. No, I'm just joking. Maybe 6th or 7th, right? Quite possibly, because you've been diligent. You've been attending this virtual event, pretty much every one of them.
Yeah.
I hope you learn like different things from different sessions, right? From different people. But do you see like a consistently same message?
Yeah, but I usually don't stay for the second part because I stayed for it like twice.
Exactly. And then so obviously, we talked about our college in general, in person, on campus, and virtual. Do you have any individual question for me or Miss Brashaw?
I mean, not at the moment.
Okay.
Are both of you working a job or previous to COVID? Are you either one of you working a job now, or were you working a job?
Yeah, I work housekeeping at a motel.
Yeah. Good.
Jediah?
Katie's mom is managing the hotel. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you like it?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. The nice thing about knowing the opportunity is like if you are interested in running your own, so much of our hotel organizations that you'll find with corporations is that they hire students as assistant managers. So like Matt said, he was already going towards an assistant manager and a manager, and now he's going in a GM position. So students are able to work with the areas that they're most interested, but then you learn so much of the behind the scenes that if you do decide to run and operate your own, you really have that knowledge of how to start the operations from the bottom up.
Mhm.
And you're also able to wear many hats. So if
Yeah.
someone doesn't show up one day and all of a sudden you are a manager and your housekeeper doesn't show up, you'll be the first person that would have to take over. And that's the beauty of being able to feel like you're comfortable, being able to transition in many areas.
Yeah. Miss Lee, you're about to say something? Yeah. Oh,
Can't hear you.
Studio Movie Girl.
Oh, there you go.
oh, now I can. Yeah.
I used to work at Studio Movie Girl in March, and I was a food and drink runner. And then I got promoted by one of the kitchen managers to work at the salad bar and the prep station for the desserts as well.
All right.
How did you like it?
I liked it really like a lot because it let me have some more hands-on experience of the work path I want to go into when I'm older, and having like the experience of making the shakes, caramel sundaes, every different type of desserts that I would like to make whenever I'm older. So it gave me a little bit of experience, and I hope to achieve that more in college.
Right.
Yeah, and I think like what Kelly and Matt were saying too, it doesn't matter like whether you start out in hotels and resorts and even you start taking a couple sport classes or a couple tourism classes, you can transition yourself in areas that you're interested in because it'll only help you decide really what your end goal is and where you want to be.
Yes.
I'm sorry, my dogs are barking as I'm walking down the street.
Time to feed her. That's
No, I have to have Abby come get her. We've been distancing ourselves.
I know. Yeah.
Oh, goodness. No. So what questions? Come on, hit us up, guys. That's what we have you on for. So what can you think of that? Like anything you can think of out of the box, whether it's Erin, who just
Right.
graduated and now she's working in missions. Who wouldn't want to be working for the college you just graduated from? And here I am 17 years later, graduating and working for Niagara. There's something you can think of. Throw all the questions out at us. That's what we're here for.
I have 3 questions actually.
Mhm.
Okay. So the first one is, does the financial aid, scholarship, and grants automatically be renewed each semester or year if you're awarded them or not?
Yeah, so I can answer that question. So have you applied yet?
I've applied for the college, but I need to submit my application fee.
Okay, perfect.
So-
There's no application fee for Niagara. I think it looks like we're just waiting on your SAT score.
Okay, so how would I send that to you?
Yeah, so go onto the College Board website and then you can send it directly from there. And if you're having any issues, you can download it as a PDF and then you can send it to your admissions counselor, or even to me if you'd like.
Okay.
But the easiest way is to do it right on College Board and send them through there.
So
and
the
sometimes-
scholarships?
And then, yeah, so once you apply and you're accepted, you'll get a letter in the mail saying you're accepted. And in that letter will tell you what your merit scholarship is for all 4 years. It's very, very difficult to lose that scholarship. So you'll most likely have that for all 4 years. So you can guarantee that that will be there. Basically could lose it basically if you fail all of your classes, you're not trying. But the one thing about colleges, every class is different. Every class could be more difficult. You have a hard semester, and we're not going to hold you straight to a 3.0 GPA you need to have to keep your scholarship. It's really you, as long as you're doing your best, you don't need to worry about losing it. So that
in addition to that, you can also receive Statler, which I believe out of state is $250 or $500 a semester. So that's just extra book money. So once you come, we send that application to you. Unfortunately, you have to be sophomore to senior status to receive it, but that's also every semester. So your scholarship should remain the same. But in addition to that, you should be eligible to apply for a Statler scholarship. Even the out-of-state students for hotel and tourism, sophomore to senior status would receive that as well.
Yeah, in addition to that, we do have one other scholarship that all of our out-of-state students do receive. It's $2,000 a year for just being an out-of-state student, because we know you're not getting state funding, as some students who live in New York State do. So you'll still file the FAFSA and get federal aid, but you can also receive our outside of New York State scholarship as well. And your admissions counselor, his name is Danelle. He's going to be the one working with you closely when it comes to your financial aid package, the numbers, things like that. But you should be able to expect whatever your merit scholarship is, an out-of-state scholarship. And then there's lots of other opportunities for additional scholarships. We have a new scholarship this year for just hospitality students. It's called the Marani Scholarship. So we encourage every student to apply. So once you get accepted, you'll get your login information for the website, and it's on our what we call SOS portal. So there's lots of different scholarships, not just the scholarship that you can apply for, that are just for students that have applied, that have been accepted into Niagara. So this Marani Scholarship is actually a scholarship that's $30,000 over 4 years. So it's in addition to whatever you're already receiving. So that scholarship comes with $30,000, but it also comes with 3 guaranteed internships in Niagara, in the Niagara Falls area with the Marani Hotel Group. So it gets you experience. They have food and beverage, they have hotels, they have different options when it comes to that. So it's a really great opportunity for guaranteed internships, extra money, and then networking before you even get here. So that's a really great opportunity. So once you are accepted and can get into the scholarship portal, you can find that on there. And then if there's lots of other things when it comes to federal aid, there are some grants, and everything will be spelled out in your financial aid package when you receive it, whether or not it's something you'll receive every year or if it was just for the first year. But once you get that financial aid package is when you can start asking the hard questions of, this grant looks like it's only when I'm a freshman. That's okay, because I'm getting a lot from my merit scholarship because I did really well in school, things like that. So the money you get with your acceptance will pretty much be guaranteed throughout your 4 years. And then however, if you want more, you just have to work a little bit for it.
So on the same page as working, you'll have work study as well?
Yes, we do. Yep. So yeah, so once it'll be dependent on your FAFSA. So if you don't qualify for work study, we also have part-time work on campus, which I did. I worked at the hockey rink for 5 years, which was kind of interesting. I worked in a snack bar. It ended up being a pretty fun job. There's a lot of smelly guys, but I got to make fries and chicken fingers every day, so I had a lot of fun. But there's lots of work study or part-time work right on campus, and we're really close to the grocery stores, a mall, different things like that you could pick up additional work.
Thank you.
Yeah.
What is the third question?
The third question already had gotten answered.
Oh, okay.
Look at that, I'm just too good.
I mean, in addition to the things, Miss Brescia talked about all those hands-on experiential learning opportunities, like sport students, they go to Major League Baseball spring trainings and the golf tournament. And we also bring our students to New York City for hotel shows, and we bring our students to Chicago for the biggest restaurant show in every May. And those trips comes with some price, right? And then price tag. And then our college also has a deliverable scholarship to kind of shape off a little bit, sometimes significant portion, such as study abroad or work abroad programs. Matt Palmer talked about the Lake Como program. That's a summer long, almost 11-week long, 12 credit bearing, full-time status maintaining study work abroad program, which is very, very, I've never seen this kind of program in a place like Penn State and University of Central Florida. I used to teach. It's a huge program, but they don't have this high impact program for our students. They work in a luxury hotel in Lake Como for 10 plus week. And then our university our college can support financially to make it happen. And same goes with the Lake Como program. Peru program, cultural immersion program. That's a little bit different. It's not work abroad. Aaron actually joined a few years ago, right? So that's a similar length, different format, the same format, like 12 credit bearing summer program. So most likely you graduate a semester early. Say, but someone like you who come here and has stayed in the dorm or live nearby, you can save a lot of room and board expenses by just doing that.
Yeah,
right?
and the Peru program actually had cooking classes. So when I
know
lived
that.
in Lima, Peru, we took different cooking classes because they're very famous for their gastronomy. So that was a lot of
Absolutely.
fun learning how to cook ceviche or
Yep.
so many different really crazy things. And
Yeah.
it was a really great program. I worked in a hotel. That's not my favorite thing, but I learned every aspect of the hotel. I worked in housekeeping, front desk, events, the
Yeah.
restaurant. I worked a little bit everywhere. And
Yeah.
it was pretty easy if you don't know Spanish. Because most of the people you encounter in a hotel speak English. And then you're living in a lot of tourist cities, Lima and Cusco, where there's somebody there that also speaks English. So
Yep.
you are required to think take 2 Spanish classes to go, but that's
Right.
really to kind of help you get the
Or even
basics.
or even
interacting.
test out if you actually had some Spanish courses while you're in high school. Then you can just test and I'm good enough,
Mhm.
or you can take a couple of courses and go. Lake Como program is a little bit different because it's a work abroad program. You're working in a top quality, high luxury hotel, so you got to speak Italian in certain level. So typically we require about 4 semesters worth of Italian courses. So there's more commitment from the student side to join this Lake Como program compared to Peru program. So those
Well,
are two most,
yeah.
highly most unique study abroad and work abroad summer program. Summer program usually is like 4 weeks, right? 3 weeks with a huge price tag, but we have neither of them. It's a long one, high impact, and very, very, very affordable program.
Yeah, and I could have graduated probably a whole year early if I didn't
Right.
decide. I wanted a second major, I wanted a minor, I wanted to go to grad school. So I took
Well,
as many classes as I possibly could, but I easily could have graduated a semester earlier if I had
right.
enough college credits coming in a year early. So it's a
Yeah.
really great opportunity to get real world experience and
Mhm.
getting college credit at the same
Yeah,
time.
I mean, as Erin mentioned, you'll probably get 4 years plus worth of a scholarship guaranteed.
Mhm.
Why graduate 3.5 years, right? Take advantage of that and explore other opportunities or expand your marketability a little bit.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah, because if you graduate in January or December, you're going to get hired much faster than when everyone else graduates in May.
or
When hired
August.
before the season gets started, maybe take a month or two to yourself, get prepared to go out into the real world. It gives you a little bit of breathing room before you take the next big step in your life. So even if you don't take one of these programs abroad, graduating a semester early is never a bad idea if you can. You can still come back for all the fun senior events. They don't kick you out. So I know I had some friends that did the Lake Como program that graduated a semester early, but then they came back for senior week. They could go on the senior cruise. So you don't miss out by graduating early. It's more of an advantage to yourself.
2 more questions actually
Yeah.
I just came up with. So the first one is, which campus has the hospitality, like for the food and beverage management? Which campus would that be at?
So we only have one campus that's in Niagara, like in Lewiston, New York. We do have a campus in Canada. That's our Vaughan campus, but our hospitality program is in right by Niagara Falls in Lewiston, New York. So our main campus is all of our colleges together. We are a pretty small school. So we have our College of Hospitality, Education, Business, and Arts and Sciences all on the same campus. And you can walk from one corner to the other in under 10 minutes. So it's not too big. It's like a big family. And I was always walking back and forth from the gym to the farthest building on campus. The only thing that's a little cold in the winter. But other than that, all of our colleges are on the same campus, whether you're business or hospitality. And there's we have one building that's kind of our hospitality building, but you really use all of the different buildings on campus and really interact with all aspects of it.
And so you said with the walking distance, does that include, for my second question, like any transportation for like buses or anything?
So our campus doesn't really need buses because it is so small. The only time we do use buses is when you're an upperclassman. We do have we have apartments. So they're a little set off campus. So in the winter, we do have a shuttle that will pick up students to take them to class to the main part of campus. But campus is pretty small, so you don't really need any shuttles. But if you are here on the weekends, especially coming from out of state, and you don't have a car, which you can have your first year, you can have a car. We do have a shuttle that goes on Fridays and Saturdays to the mall, to Wegmans, to Target,
Groceries.
to get all your necessities if you are here on the weekends. And you'll probably find a friend with a car too, and that'll just make things easier. But there are opportunities to get off campus without a car.
Okay. Thank you.
Mhm.
I have a question.
Yeah.
So, like, what sort of job positions do people usually get after graduation? Like, generally?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I'll let Chris take that one.
Sure. Students are working in all different areas. So they apply for assistant managerial position. So we have students that are working with Pagula Sports and Entertainment. We have students that are working for the Sheraton, the Marriott, the Hyatt. We have some students that are actually managing hotels right in Niagara Falls, like Rachel Dorgan. She was in my New Beginnings class as a freshman, and now she's working with the
Hyatt Place.
the Hyatt Place. And she's hired some of our students already. She bought a house and she's renting out a house for college.
Oh, and she has a pig.
And she has a
Little
pet pig.
Yeah.
And we invite her back to Alumni Advantage. But all of our students actually apply for assistant managerial positions. So whether it's hotels, resorts, we have Jennifer Gregory who's working with Niagara Falls Visit Buffalo. And she's actually traveling around the world, and she comes back and speaks to students. And some of our alumni are actually teaching in the classroom now this next semester. So a lot of the industry representatives, whether you decide you want to work with AAA or you want to work with Hyatt or you want to work with spas or you want to work with wineries, those professionals are teaching in the classroom. But they also help intern our students from as early as your freshman to your senior year.
Right. So it's really difficult to say, what kind of level our students get into upon graduation.
Mhm.
Because it all depends on students, their commitment to the hands-on experience they get while they were here. Some students just take it to fulfill that 800-hour practicum hours, just have a check mark. Some students just build on that, right? Every semester, internship, part-time, mini supervisory experience, job shadowing. And once you graduate, you are a great candidate for a managerial position.
Mhm.
Not all of them, right? Unfortunately, we wish all our students to apply for a managerial position and become a manager. And some students become assistant GM of hotel. And 2-3 years down the road, when they were 25 years old, they are running the hotel.
Yeah.
And we have a few of them already at the age of 25 running Holiday Inn, right?
Mhm.
So it can happen, or it can be quite similar to the jobs you may just get right after your high school diploma. If you don't really pay attention and if you don't really communicate with your advisors or someone like Ms. Brasher or industry people or our alumni, get great advice and take it to your heart and build on your career in a more meaningful way rather than just go in, clock out, getting paid. It's like job, right? I need money to pay my bill kind of attitude. Then you don't really earn anything other than just paycheck. So to me, based on my 17 years of teaching in higher education, it's like cliche, but it all depends on student attitude.
Okay.
But I've seen quite a few students get very meaningful managerial job right off upon graduation because they made a commitment from the get-go.
Okay.
We can
Be
certainly make
willing
it
to
happen, right?
transition too. I think a lot of it is students have to put their best foot forward. So when we bring in 20, 30, 40 companies a year to meet with you during the career fair, we are one of the only colleges that the university might bring in a total of 30 or 40 companies for 2,500 students to apply for. We bring in under less than 300 students, we'll bring in 30 to 40 companies to come and interview you from your freshman to your senior year. So like, young Sue mentioned, going to the hotel international experience. I met with Liberty Travel. I wasn't even sure I wanted to go into the travel agency industry. And then I managed with Liberty Travel. Then 10 years later, as a top sales agent, one of my professors came to me to ask me to apply for the position I have today. So I think if you're willing to transition and you're willing to network and you're willing to meet with these employers, it'll only help you get the position that you're setting yourself out for.
Yeah, for example, Katie, were you here for the CMAA event like 2 weeks ago? So
Yeah.
Trevor, our student on the call, he's already gotten 2 offers from alumni on that call for internships this summer. So he, just by networking and being positive and always really reaching for the next level, he already has offers from Park Country Club and Rolling Rock for internship this summer.
And he was in my
Oh.
freshman B class last fall. So this
Yeah,
just
he's
tells
young.
you he's a sophomore, and these club
Mm.
managers are looking for him to do
Yeah.
in
Yeah,
their
I met
club.
him when I visited.
Oh yeah.
He's a bit much sometimes, but it's fine. It's fine.
No, but he's like one of those people that, like, he says, I want to set myself out to do it. I did that when I came to Niagara. I said, I want to go to Disney. I want to study abroad. I want to learn about the travel agency industry. And I did it all. But if I didn't ask the dean at the time, I probably, who knows where I would be. And I just say to students, don't be afraid to ask, because that's what we're here for. We're here for you to come bug us about everything you want to do. And Trevor was in my office every other day, like, Aaron, I want to double major, and I want to, minor, and I want to study abroad. I'm like, don't be afraid to, if you ask us too late, you don't want it to be too late. You don't want to graduate and say, I wish I would have. You want to do all of this when you come to see us, and we want to help you set those goals and achieve them.
Yeah, your education is what you make it, really. We'll give you all of the tools you need. You just have to take advantage of it. Go to the career fair. Maybe you go as a freshman just to meet some people. You don't necessarily want an internship your first summer. You miss home, get a job at home, that's fine. But at least going to the fair, getting dressed up, trying to network a little bit, you never know where it'll get you the next year. They probably will remember you. They'll be like, oh yeah, I remember talking to you last year. Are you looking for a job this year? We'd love to have you. It's really what you make it. And for example, we have, if there's a club you want, like, you can create it. Like Disney Club was just created. We have an outdoors club. We have esports.
Right.
If you want to do community service somewhere, make it happen. Not only will the College of Hospitality have your back, but the college itself, all of Niagara, whether it's our student activities, our residence life. Like, if you have an idea, we want to try it. I mean, it doesn't hurt to give it a shot. If you want to work at a spa in the Maldives or something, we'll figure it out. We'll find the person that we need to talk to. It might take a little coercing, but it's just, we know so many people that if you have a goal in mind, just tell us what it is and we'll do everything we can to get you there.
That's
Okay, that sounds good.
That's a unique
Josiah,
thing.
do you have another question?
Yeah.
Josiah, did you say you had one more question for us?
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
So my last question is, I promise it's the last one.
No, that's okay.
For the jobs, you have work study and part-time that the campus has, or like places around that. So if you finish like doing the work study, can you like move to the part-time job for like the rest of the time, like you're not working there, but attending the college for the 4 years? Or is there like a certain limit for the part-time job?
So usually work study is a certain number of hours per week. And I don't think it ever runs out for your 4 years. So I think it's anywhere from 10 to 12 hours a week that you can work study. But it doesn't just stop at a certain point. I believe it guarantees you for the 4 years, unless you have like a major financial change when you file your FAFSA. But every year when you file the FAFSA, you should still be requalified for work study.
Yeah, so like, for instance, if you're already on campus and you wanted to work for Met's Catering and you work like presidential events, when we do open house on Saturdays, you would, like Gigi Ortiz, she was working for Met's, but then she would also sometimes students can work on weekends in the hotel. Normally, we don't want you to work a lot of hours on the weekends. Like if you want to, when you go home for break, you can, but if you absolutely have a car and you want to work on the weekends locally, that's fine. But if you also don't have a car and you want to work on campus, students will work at Tim Hortons, or they'll work with Met's, and they can just earn extra money in addition to your work study hours.
Met's is a full service company that is serving our students in the cafeteria and student commons.
And you might not know what Tim Hortons is yet, but we'll have 3 of them on campus here shortly. So that's our local coffee place. I forget that I used to work at the Tim Hortons on campus. I always forget that. But like I said, like I had 2 part-time jobs on campus. Like, it's not an unrealistic thing. Just keep in mind that your studies should come first. But work study is always a good option. They're very helpful when it comes to scheduling and making sure that during finals week, maybe you cut back a little bit, and they get some different people involved. So they're really good when it comes to making sure you have the best schedule for yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, in work study, we usually try to accommodate the students first. So if students are working, whether it's 10, 15 hours a week and, they have class during a certain time and that you're going to have a, morning class or night class, we work, just a couple hours each day with you. So it's really to help you work in an office that you feel like it's going to be to your advantage, but it's also helping pay for your education. And it's really actually a good way to get to know so many people on campus. So many of our work study aides have been absolutely awesome, and we're still in contact with them to this day.
All right. Any more questions? We won't stop till all the questions are answered. So.
Mhm. Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Wait, okay. Dr. Choi, are you gonna send me Matt Palmer's email information if I have
Sure.
questions for him?
I think Aaron, you have his contact information, right?
Yeah, I can send it over to you, Katie.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks. Because
I do.
I'll probably think of some questions later.
Good.
Yeah, that's fine.
We'll send both of you, both Kelly and Matt, to alumni's contact information. But if you want to know some industry in specific, we have all the list of our alumni who are more than happy to share their experience and give their perspectives. And so let us know again. So what's life like in Texas nowadays? I haven't been there for like 4 years.
Guess you can say it's decent.
Yeah.
There have been a lot of football and sports going on with my school.
Yeah.
But since I haven't been able to work at Studio Movie Girl, they changed locations and they went from Colleyville back to Arlington.
Oh,
so
okay.
I hope in the summer to be able to work there if another job doesn't offer it for me. But Texas is pretty good. It's decent. The weather has been very, very bipolar.
Right. Nice. Well, Arlington's not too far away from where you live. So, yeah. Gosh. Are you considering any big schools Texas? Let's see, they have a Houston from the top of my mind. Have you looked into the Houston hospitality program at all?
No, she would get lost. That's why she's coming to NU.
I haven't looked at so many schools with Texas. There's probably been one or two, but they haven't had my majors that I wanted. So that's why I've been looking out of state. And mostly in New York, there's been opportunities as well.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Dr. Choi, didn't you say when we spoke last that we have a partnership with the Niagara Falls Culinary Institute?
Right.
To help to work on both sides of that.
Right. I mean, they, Miss Brescia and I talked to the director the other day via email. They might need, some of our students may get involved in running their restaurant, the Savor restaurant. Remember Miss Brescia, right?
Yes, that in their deli. They're always looking for, they actually have a little bistro. They have a wood burning fire
Savor.
pit, Savor. And they have
Beautiful.
a deli, and they also have a patisserie that they do all the baked goods for the casino.
Yeah.
So there's so many positions right there, and they do provide a shuttle back and forth.
Yeah.
And Josh Bloomberg, the new director, is always looking for NU students to help with positions there. And it's great because you're meeting also with a lot of the people that are visiting there are visiting the hotels and the falls from really around the world. So you're getting a chance to culturally immerse yourself with people that are traveling from, hopefully coming back from around the world. And we have so many students that are working downtown in Niagara Falls. It's a growing community, but it's actually, so a lot of students have decided to stay locally just because of the job position. So once they started working, they have decided to keep their roots here. And the cost of living is reasonable here. I have to say, it's one of those things where you have to really love what you do, but also love where you live.
So as long as you don't mind, a little bit of chilly winter, this is place to go. I didn't really enjoy too much. I didn't talk to Matt about Florida, 7 years in Florida, but I'm not a big fan of hot
weather.
Florida summer, to be honest with you.
Yeah, that's why I applied to go to school in Miami. I've been up here for too long.
Oh,
but I still chose here anyways for some reason.
Me too.
Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah. I mean,
backtracking to the transportation, you said freshmen can have like a car on campus. So will there be like a
Yes.
parking garage for it? And like will it be for free or anything for students?
So we don't have garages, unfortunately. We do have parking lots, and they're located right next to the freshman building.
Yeah.
And we have we have a hockey rink on campus. So our D1 team plays there. We have a couple club teams, and then we have youth hockey too. So there's a huge parking lot right there next to campus, and then there's even another lot behind that one. So parking, I believe, is $85 a year right now, but you can have a car on campus as a freshman.
Yeah, the majority parking, I think students park at like Seton, and then if you need to overnight, or if you ever run into a time where you can't find a spot, like the overload,
Dwyer,
you can park in Dwyer and keep your car there. It's safe and protected, and there's 24-hour security. So the long weekends, they usually say Dwyer is the best, just because students can park anywhere. But if there's like a snowstorm and you need to get out, they always say there's always extra parking, but you may have to walk a short distance. And I have to say, most of the time, students, it takes between 5 and 10 minutes to walk across campus. You'd be surprised, but it's not like a city campus where you're having to take a shuttle. You can walk everywhere from Gallagher Center to the Kiernan Gym to the dining hall to St. Vincent's. The majority of your classes at first too will be in St. Vincent's Hall of the College of Hospitality and our Statler dining room. And there may be your gen ed classes will be around campus, but they're all within 5 to 10 minute walking distance. And the professors are if students are taking a couple minutes to walk or park, they're not like, oh, the clock started 2 minutes later, you need to make sure you're in here. They're very accommodating, because we do have athletes that they'll come right out of practice and they're running a tiny bit late, but it's everything is so close and convenient to get to. It's like a big community. And the nice part is, if you do want the shuttle, if you don't have the car, you can easily take it to Wegmans and get groceries, or stock yourself up at Walmart and things like that with other students. But I have to say, like, my first or second semester, even at Niagara, students are so willing to allow other students to drive places that it's really what's most convenient for you. If you'd like to have it, you don't really necessarily need to have it your first semester, but Niagara's nice enough to let students have the car if they really want to be able to have the freedom to do so.
I have a question regarding the classes you were just talking about. So some classes, will there be libraries available for students, or like that class have a tutor, or no?
Yeah, so we have both. So we have a library on campus. So all of our main buildings for classes are right in a circle in the middle of campus. So if you're going from one class to the other, usually you have about 10 minutes to get between them. So if you need to get a coffee real quick, go to the bathroom, you can get to class usually in plenty of time. And then the library is located right behind the main building. So it's very close to the main part of campus. And there's 3 different floors. So we have a quiet floor, we have a floor with a lot of computers, and then we also have a lot of books. So one of the floors is kind of the quiet floor, where you can't really be talking. So it's good if you want to work alone with headphones in. We have a floor that's really good for working on projects, computers, working with other people. And then our basement is kind of in the middle. So we do have lots of study rooms on campus, right in the library, so you can book them out online. So if you have a group project to work on, or we do have lots of tables, computers, chairs, if you're just working with one other person. And we do offer free tutors for every one of our courses on campus. That's usually tutored by someone who's already taken the class. So our academic support isn't just for students who have maybe a disability coming into college. It's for any student that may be struggling in a course. I took a statistics class and I did not do very well. So I went and got a tutor. It was free. I went as much as I wanted to. If I wanted to go once a week, 3 times a week, whatever worked best with my tutor's schedule, I'd come in and I passed the class with an A. So it's really easy to get a tutor on campus, use the library. There's lots of different resources for that.
Yeah, and the thing is, if you decide to sign up for a tutor early, they will tutor you outside of your course schedule, so that you're not having to miss class, and they're really there to help volunteer to help you get ahead. So I always say to students, if you need to reach out to them early, there's so many resources, whether it's reading, writing, math, statistics, accounting, whatever it might be that you need a little bit of help with. They're there. The tutors will actually work with you outside of your class time. So if you sign up early, they'll say, oh, I can do it like Mondays and Wednesdays, like at 4 o'clock when you're done with class, or whatever works for you. And that's what they do. They're awesome.
Yeah, and you can even become a tutor once you have mastered some classes that maybe you do really well in, and kind of pay it back. And those are paid positions too, if you tutor other students.
Wow, this is most
Anything else?
most interactive session I've ever had.
I know, this is
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, so we don't have any more upcoming events like this. We're going to change up the format a little bit for the next couple of weeks. So Katie, we'll have you keep coming back, but we'll try some new things when it comes to different types of events. Later in February, we have a tourism panel from Niagara Falls. So we have representatives, hopefully from the mayor's office, the hotel, different infrastructure around Niagara Falls, and we're going to have a little discussion on how COVID has affected them and what they're going to be doing moving forward. Because when you come here as a student, a lot of the jobs, internships, or at least education will be affected by what Niagara Falls is doing. And it's really amazing to have such a tourist destination 10 minutes away from you. So you really kind of fully experience how it is to work in a hotel, what the seasons are like when it comes to tourism. Because the reason that hospitality is encompassing sports management, tourism, and hotel management is because you can't really have one without the other. You can't, if you're going to, let's say, a Buffalo Bills game, but you're not from Buffalo, you have to stay in a hotel, you probably need to go out to eat, you need your tickets, you need transportation. So there's every piece of hospitality. That's why we have all of them together, is because you can't really have one without the other. You need that economic support. So that's what this event is going to kind of a little bit focus on, about what Niagara Falls is doing. And then we'll have more fun upcoming stuff, hopefully, that we'll be working on soon.
Oh, now I can retire. Erin, you can run the whole show. I don't even have to talk about why we have 3 majors under one umbrella or anything like that. So great. Thank you.
Yeah, Katie and Josiah, if you guys have any questions, I'm always here. I can answer admissions questions, hospitality questions, whatever you have. I have, like, you can meet with me. I have meetings set up every day at like 3 different times. You can sit down and just chat with me if you have questions about the financial aspect. I can also help you with hospitality questions. I know Dr. Choi and Chris are really your go-to people because they'll be the ones working with you for the 4 years that you're here. But I'll also be here hopefully for all 4 of those years, and can always help you when it comes to looking for internships, networking. When I was a student, I had an internship every summer. And even the summer after I graduated, I still did an internship on Old Falls Street, more or less. But it's really great at the number of people you get to know, and can really go anywhere with a degree. That's why I started, when I graduated, I worked in live events because I loved concerts and working with people. And then I moved to the sales side of hotels. That really wasn't for me either, but now I finally found my home. Because of COVID, I lost my job, but I ended up being happier than I could ever possibly be. So it's a double-sided coin when it comes to COVID. Is yes, you miss out on a lot, but maybe you had the opportunity to do something you've never done before, or try something new. So it's really how you kind of see what has happened and what you can make of it. And that's how you should view your college experience.
And you wouldn't be with us today if you didn't give the opportunity to come and grow and try something new.
Mm-hmm.
It's like family.
Exactly.
Circled around again. Any
All
questions that you think of that we have missed, don't be afraid to email or call us. We haven't opened our policy, and even though there are days where we may be working at home or remotely, please feel free to reach out. We don't want to leave any question that you have unanswered, because that's really what we want to do, is help you feel like we've helped answer your questions and make sure that, Niagara is the choice for you. Everyone has to find a place in their soul and their heart. And I think Young Sue will attest to this. If you're an touristic person, you'll decide that Niagara is the place for you because you want to go to a college that is going to help you get to achieve your goals and get to where you want to be.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, I won't keep you guys too long. I know The Bachelor starts soon, if anybody's watching that tonight. I unfortunately can't watch it tonight, so don't anybody tell me what's happening. But if you guys have any other questions, Dr. Choi just put his email and his office number in the chat.
Yeah.
He's always available to talk if you guys ever need anything. But if not, I'm the one that texted you all. I know, Katie, you have my number. Always
Yeah.
feel free to text me.
Can you add my
work
email and
on me.
phone? I just had another student come up on Zoom and block me off. Can you please add my email and
Yes,
phone?
let me
Okay.
just make sure I
I
have it.
I'm so sorry. Thank
Yeah, no,
you.
that's fine.
Okay. Have a good night, guys.
You too, Chris.
Thank
Bye,
you. Sorry
Chris.
about that.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
All right, let me
I don't have her.
find Chris's information real quick.
I don't have a phone number. Maybe
Miss
it's on my
Bratch.
phone.
I don't have her phone number either.
Let me see.
But you can always just email her if you have any questions. And then I'll just throw my email in real quick if
Yeah.
anybody needs it. But I'm pretty sure I usually email or text most of you.
Okay.
So if you guys need anything, just let us know. But thank you so much for coming tonight. And Katie, thank you for staying. I know you've been to a lot of these, but I hope we answered a bunch of different questions for you that maybe you wouldn't have gotten in any of the other events. So with that, good luck. If you guys need any help, if you need any help, Josiah, finishing your application, just let me know. If you can't access College Board, I know it's tricky. They don't make it easy. They really should. But if you guys need any help, just let us know.
Miss Lee, help me one more time how I can